morning, Lena. Thank you so much for being here. Where are you calling in from today on this beautiful Friday morning?
Hi, thank you for inviting me. Very happy to be here. I'm calling in from Munich,
Great. So the other
so
part
from
of
our office.
cool.
Sorry?
From the other part of Germany, because I'm all the way up in the north in Hamburg.
Yes, from all, yeah, down from south of
Great.
Germany.
So why don't you just introduce yourself? Who are you and what do you actually do?
So I'm Lena. I am co-founder and co-inventor of AirUp, and AirUp is a drinking bottle that flavors pure water just by scent. So it tricks your brain into thinking you're drinking something with flavor, even though you're just drinking pure water.
Mm-hmm. How did you come up with this idea for AirUp? Or like, what's your mission? Because obviously we all drink soda, we drink flavored water, but this is something completely new. We talk about the technology later, but how did you come up with this one?
Yeah, so I studied product design with my co-founder Tim, and we both did our bachelor thesis together. And this idea originated from this bachelor thesis, where our topic was actually, I think the title was The Sixth Sense. So we were very interested in neuroscientific research because we were inspired by this very interesting TED talk from David Eagleman, who's a neuroscientist, and was talking about how our sensory perception works and how you can enhance your senses or even manipulate them in some way. And we thought, wow, this is very interesting. Let's do something out of that. And then when we were working on that topic, we thought, okay, in which area could we use this knowledge from like the research we went through? And then we thought, okay, like the whole topic taste is interesting because I think everyone knows like our society eats a lot sugars and all the unhealthy stuff because um, we can't resist all those additives in food. And we thought it would be great to maybe create taste without all the bad stuff. So what would
Right.
happen if we do that? So yeah.
So for
And
the long term, also kind of your mission is to reduce the sugar, but still having the flavor, pretty much the taste.
yes, I think that's a very the nice thing about AirUp. So we didn't want to cut out the fun of
Mm-hmm.
the experience. So we thought, because of course everyone knows what's unhealthy and everyone knows what's not sustainable, but we just can't change our behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought, okay, we have to meet the consumers' needs and desires, but at the same time create such a clever product that it doesn't have any bad consequences on the health and on the sustainability, like on the environment. So
Mm-hmm.
that's basically.
Can you tell us more about the innovation behind and actually how it works? Because I guess, especially for the listeners who've never seen this bottle or who might even be from overseas, it sounds bizarre saying, well, I'm drinking water, but I'm tasting a certain flavor. Can you tell us more how that works?
Yes, sure. So when I mean, app is a usual drinking bottle. So it's a refillable drinking bottle you can fill in water, and on top you can put like little scent pods, we call them. So it's like a little ring in which the flavor sits. And the minute you pop it on, you drink water and scented air from our bottle, and the scented air arises through your mouth up to your olfactoria, which sits in like upper in your nose. There gets perceived as taste from your brain and then just gets exhaled. So the trick about it is that there's no transition from that flavor into the water. So everything you swallow is just water. And this phenomenon, it's something that happens within our natural taste perception as well. So when we're eating something or when we're drinking something, then when we chew, we extract molecules which make or define like 80% of our taste perception. So 80% of your taste perception happens in your nose, and just 20% you will taste on your tongue. And that's just the basic flavors like sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami, which is savory flavor that you will taste on your tongue. Everything else you will taste in your nose.
That's actually crazy how it works. Because if you, for example, compare it with eyesight, it would probably be called optical illusion. And as you say, like our brain just fully triggers us in how we perceive things, how we taste things. And it's absolutely amazing how you transfer this triggering of the senses into this water bottle. I'm
Yeah.
wondering, how many prototypes did it take? And what was your process like to actually get where you are?
Yeah, a lot of prototypes. I can tell you a bit about that. So when we started during our bachelor thesis, we were like we had this idea. We read about retronasol smelling. That's like that's the scientific term for this effect, and we thought, wow, we have to do something out of that. And then we ordered like a room um, scent. What's it called? Like like a scent distributor. Can you
Oh,
say
yeah,
it
yeah.
like that? Like something that you put in your room and you put on, and then you smell
Great.
nice scents. And we got that, and we bought some straws, and we put one end in this little machine, and the other end in our mouth, and then drank water at the same time. So it was very basic prototypes, and probably not the best thing to do. But we realized, okay, it works. It's interesting. It works. So then we tried to, I don't know, bought very cheap drinking bottles from the supermarkets, bought like baking flavors, and so we had very basic prototypes until we we built a functional prototype for the end of the bachelor thesis. And then like this was like from the idea to this functional prototype was like a month in between, so it was a very short time. And
Mm-hmm.
then from that prototype to the prototype that actually went into production, it took like another 1.5 years. So that was a far longer process, because then it gets into detail. So what can we afford? How can we produce it? What materials should we use, etc.
For sure. And also, it's a difference from coming from the straw and this diffuser to actually having this pot that sits on the water bottle itself, right? So, that is definitely, I guess, the biggest change then than just
Yes,
going
that's
from
true.
the straw from nose to wherever or mouth wherever.
Yeah,
So,
diffuser, that's the word. Yeah.
what I read on your social media and also on your website is that you have some sort of special pots, right? So, for example, if I remember correctly, you have like a Christmas edition. Um, I'm wondering, in general, not just for this one, but for all of your editions, all your smells, flavors, however you define it, how does the smell impact your emotions, and how do you actually come up with the new ones?
So um, flavors in general are quite full of emotion, because like all the association we have with scents and flavors is based on the experience we've made until now. So, for example, I don't know, when you ate tangerines as a kid for Christmas time, and you liked that time because, I don't know, you knew you will get your presents and your family was coming over, whatever, then you will have quite a positive association with that flavor or with that scent. So in that term, flavor is very emotional, and it's very like every but it's very different from person to person. So everyone will like different flavors, and it's not rational at all. Um, and the way we come up with flavor, though, is we do of course, have to look at market research, because now we're a company, we're not just two students anymore. So we have to be profitable at some point, and we realized those special flavors you just mentioned. So like the Christmas editions, like we had eggnog, for example, where we brought eggnog to market. Those flavors are interesting for like just try it for a lot of people, but in the end they will stick to the more common flavors like cherry, cola, wild berry are our best sellers. So we realized we have to look at the at the market. So what do other beverages, what are their best sellers, and then also we take the customer feedback into consideration, and then we have to do tests. So because it doesn't mean like if we if that flavors that work well in beverages will work well with our system, because some things do not smell as nice as they taste. So it's like this process exists of those three points.
Interesting. And I think also what you mentioned earlier is I might prefer one flavor over another in comparison to you, but I guess also we don't all experience and rate the same flavors, right? So we even perceive them differently. So what I might perceive as very sweet and light, you might perceive as, oh, this is actually a bit sour and quite strong, right? So even there, how do you overcome this during the testing?
I think like it's you can't overcome it in some way. You just have to test with a lot of people. So if you have like if you just test flavors in the, for example, we like when we started with like founding the company, we're like 5 or 6 people, and then we tested internally, but it didn't really. Of course, you can say, okay, this flavor doesn't work at all.
Right.
But you won't find a favorite with that necessary works with the whole market. So you have to test with a lot of people, and then it's still, I mean, some people say, wow, lime is super intense and I therefore like it very much, or it's kind of sour, I like it. And then other people would say, no, I don't. I think orange passion fruit is a lot more intense, and it smells like or it tastes like Fanta or whatever. So it's very different.
Also, I think what you just say here is that it brings up some memories. If you say it tastes like this and that, like your smell and stuff, especially brings up certain memories. Also, what you said from Christmas is it reminds you of certain things. So there might be a bias if you have childhood memories or any other memories associated with this. What you truly enjoyed, emotional, relationship with it, or even something you didn't like as a child, but now you kind of, got the same flavor back. So that obviously might also truly impact it.
It's also that's very interesting, because that there the neuroscientific side comes in, because also scents, like the perception of a scent is going directly to your long-term memory. So also what sometimes occurs when you, for example, I don't know, when I smell the perfume my grandma wears, so when I smell Chanel number 5 somewhere, I immediately have my grandma in mind, so also like scents can take you like to a certain memory of yours,
It's
which is super powerful.
because this is exactly the memory or the example I always bring up with my great grandma, actually, because she passed away when I think I was 13. And she passed away and she had this certain smell, right? Each person has a certain smell, but my great grandma just had this certain smell. And when she passed away, she always had these like fabric tissues. And I was 13, right? Not having anything in mind with this. I took like 10 of these tissues into a certain box. So anytime I would miss her, I could open this box and smell her. So that's actually something that always reminds me of her. So true. Nothing actually brings back more memories than the smell.
And yeah, it's crazy.
Truly. So if I understood correctly, one of your best sellers, for example, is the cherry, right? Were there any surprises along the way or along the demand of a certain pot? Anything
Yes,
maybe where you thought, oh, this might be a bestseller, and then it turned out to be fully disliked by the market?
yes. Well, that, like I mentioned before, so we do also test internally.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, we brought cucumber to the market
Oh.
quite quite in the beginning, because when we just as five, like as five founder, when we tested in our small like
In the small lab.
in our small lab, which was just basically a fridge with all the aromas and a little table,
Uh-huh.
um, we all like the cucumber flavor the most, because it also it some scents are apparently, so what I learned from Fabi, who's our chief flavorist, so to say, that the aromas are different, like differentiate in complexity.
Mm-hmm.
So cucumber is not a very complex flavor, so it tastes very natural, very like soon. We didn't have to develop that much, that it tasted very natural, and therefore we really liked it, and we thought, oh, this is going to be a huge success. But in the end, it's not. It's one of our the consumer's less favorite flavors.
Interesting. So what I'm wondering, throughout the process, how do you ensure that you don't really smell or taste a bias from previous examples or samples? So for example, if I go to a fragrance store and I smell one fragrance, before smelling the next one, I might smell some coffee in between, right? To make sure
Mhm.
I'm free and I'm open and I don't have a bias from before. How do you ensure that you can fully focus on the new sample, the new pot?
Yeah, so I think it's a bit of a different story, because when you go to the
Fragrance stores.
fragrance stores or perfumery or whatever you call it, then you might try or test, I don't know, five or
Mm-hmm.
more perfumes
Sure.
one after another, and then you have to get yourself neutralized, even and especially because you can't like connect those scents to like a certain experience you had before.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't smell an orange and then a peach, because you know those flavors, but it's like a composition of like different notes and different, so it's very complex flavors or like scents as well. And when you drink out of our system, I think especially like, I don't know, when you drink 1 liter of water, then you might like change your pot once or twice or maybe 3 times, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think more than that. And then you always have your sips in between. Um, and yeah, so I think it's a bit of a different story, and then you can adapt very quickly to the new flavor.
Right. Do you have a personal favorite?
I I always have like a favorite, and it changes very often. So for now, I'm actually very in love with peach.
Mm-hmm. Is
So
that
it's
a recent or a new flavor, or is it just that you currently
no,
have?
it's actually a very old flavor, but
Okay.
I liked it 1.5 years ago, and then I kind of got over it after a while, because then there were new and more exciting
Right.
flavors, and
Green.
then I rediscovered it for myself recently.
Right. Nice. Okay, so you at the beginning you kind of talked about the six senses, but this podcast is called My Five Senses Experience. So we
Mhm.
focus on see, hear, smell, touch, and taste. If you had to pick one sense, including or even beyond the smell and taste, which one would you eliminate? So where could you say, hey, I get rid of this one and only focus on the other four?
Wow, that's a tricky one. Um, I would say I would eliminate my sense of feeling. So,
The touch
the
and stuff.
sorry,
The touch then.
yeah, the touch sense. So, I think like as I am quite a visual person, since I have like a creative background, I think just being blind would be very, very, very hard for me. But then on the other side, I like to listen to music, and I think it's very important to hear something. And then I think, as you like, at the moment, a lot of people have experienced what it could be like when you lose um, your sense of smelling because due to corona, and it makes people depressed, so not being able to taste your food, and I like to eat as well a lot, so that would be very hard for me. So I guess touch is the least impactful for me, but I don't know, maybe.
Interesting, actually, because we did some research on this one, and we also, asked people which senses applied and did some research, and it actually shows that touch is the one which is only used, I think, less than 28%, because less people actually use their hands. And if I had to answer the same question, I would probably also say touch for the same reasons. So I think that also shows that the other ones are subconsciously happening, but might be, more important or more relevant in our own association.
Yeah. Oh God, but I couldn't. Well, would be awful still. But to
I
lose
mean,
the sense
luckily
of
you
touch.
have it.
Yeah, luckily I have it.
Now I'm curious, is there, I mean, I guess you get a lot of interview questions, you hold a lot of interviews. Is there, or which question would you like to ask yourself?
That's a tricky one. I think what a lot of people ask in general when it comes to our product is they say, is it really sustainable? Because when you see it, it's like, it's the refillable drinking bottle, but it comes with the scent pods, and the scent pods are like little plastic pods. And then of course it triggers more negative associations. So I want to say maybe that it is more sustainable than the other drinks from the supermarket, because our pods flavor up to at least 5 liters of water, so they're quite efficient. And when you compare it to the drinks you will get from a supermarket, normally you get 1 liter or a half a liter in a one-way plastic bottle. So you save quite a lot of plastic. And on the other side, they are so small and lightweight that you can transport them actually, or can transport a lot more flavor in one van than you could transport other drinks from the supermarket. And yeah, I think this is an additional benefit, and something that was important to us as well. So
Great.
I'd like to mention it here.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank you for saying it. Okay, so I mean, definitely we will put everything on our social media, link the product. I think you came up with such an amazing idea for the product. Like, honestly, when I came across it, I was like, what? How does that even work? And also your marketing, huge congrats on that one. I think you're doing an amazing job of raising awareness for a no sugar alternative without having to get rid of the fun part, as you said. One
Yeah.
thing though, that is of course a great question. Where can we purchase AirUp?
Where can we? Yeah, so we do sell now. Like we do sell in Germany and Austria. We do also sell the product in France, Belgium, Netherlands, and but the easiest thing is to purchase it over our website, so over our web shop, which is air-up.com. And then also in Germany, you can buy it over Amazon or selected stores offline, like Rossmann.
Amazing. I highly recommend everyone listening to this one, watching it, whatever medium, to check it out. And I truly believe that there are more amazing flavors coming up. So I'm actually quite excited to follow along the journey, try them out, and see how you trigger our senses.
Yes, they will come. A lot more exciting flavors. So
I'm
be
sure.
prepared to be amazed.
I'm sure. Lena, thank you so much for being here today. It was great. Also, what you taught us, like in theory, about the neuroscience and the senses and stuff, and really getting us excited for trying the flavor. So, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you.
Bye.